maybe not you specifically, but like when people say they taste the difference between like a diet soda and a regular, I, I don't know. It just doesn't hit me that hard. So,
Some people, I think that's just an internal excuse because they're fat. A lot of people just don't want to lose weight, so they're this doesn't taste good. That's it because they're just making excuses. I'm gonna be honest. Right, what is up, my beautiful people? Today we got Sam Sulek. We got his grocery haul coming in. We're gonna teach you all how to shop. Give you some tips on how to diet, cut, bulk. Let's get to it.
all right. So post lift, after a few days have passed, you got to go back to the grocery store, man. I got to eat something. But for now, the name of the game is, I'm trying to eat foods with a large amount of satiation. It's going to make me feel full, but is going to have a lot of calories, right? If I eat a big ass bowl of cinnamon toast crunch, sure, I could get full, but it's going to have like 700-800 calories worth of, carbs, fats, a little bit of proteins too. If I could get that same level of fullness with like, some keto bread sandwiches, some super lean ground beef, some stuff like that, right? Which option do you think is going to let me eat less food during the day, be able to stay under my calorie deficit, right? And then lose fat? I think it's pretty obvious. So let's start off with not ideal.
All right. So he's talking about switching in between bulk and cuts there. Big tip there, actually. I don't think you have to have as drastic of a switch in food as he's talking about. I personally think the best way to handle a bulk and cut is when you're bulking to just add maybe about 500 calories. If you're cutting, take no more than 500 calories away. So you're able to kind of maintain the same food choices. It's just really the seasonings and the condiments that you change. When I'm quote unquote bulking, I'm more so eating like full fat butter. I don't really care if I eat like maybe a few chips or a cookie here and there, but the main change is that I'm eating more so like actual butter. I might cook with some oil. I might drink whole fat milk instead of skim milk. I'm using the whole egg, things like that. Maybe zero fat cottage cheese versus full fat cottage cheese. On a cut, I'm taking that zero fat cottage cheese. I'm taking the egg whites. I'm taking the skim milk. Things like that. Those little changes are going to give you all you really need to bulk versus cut. When you get these drastic changes, that's when you start yo-yo dieting and losing muscle, gaining fat, all bad stuff there.
Of just, and well, so I didn't mean to start this off with just drinks, but that's kind of the side we're starting on.
He's
Again,
smart.
the calorie smart option, the calorie smart option, the zero sugar lemonade, the zero sugar punch, stuff like that. Any
That's exactly what I grab when I go to the store. Sam Zula's got a good head on him, good noggin. Zero sugar drinks gonna leave you more full, more satiated without a lot of the calories. One thing I would watch out for is sometimes when I drink a lot of juice, I start getting cravings for more sweet food. So if you're someone who really likes sweets, might not be the best option for you to tempt yourself with something sweet like that because it might trigger some overeating. But diet sodas, diet drinks, gonna be great for leaving you full or a little sweet taste if you're able to control it.
food which you can find a lower calorie version of, it's just by taste. I swear, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Maybe not you specifically, but like when people say they taste the difference between like a diet soda and a regular, I, I don't know. It just doesn't hit me that hard. So,
Some people, I think that's just an internal excuse because they're fat. A lot of people just don't want to lose weight, so they're this doesn't taste good. That's it because they're just making excuses. I'm gonna be honest. On top of that, though, there is just a little bit of your body kind of getting used to it. Something like cauliflower rice versus regular rice, there is a taste of difference, but as you start to eat it, your body's not going to notice it as much. When you are used to regular rice, you're used to all those carbs and sugars and goodness, and your brain starts sending dopamine saying, oh, yeah, this is good. Cauliflower rice, you're not getting that same dopamine saying, oh, yeah, eat more of this. So that's part of the thing there, but it still just goes back to they're making excuses. They're being a little fat, to be honest. There's definitely tricks or hacks you can do to make it taste better?
Next up is going to be eggs. Ah, jeez. So typically I'd want to get the cartoned egg whites because I'm like, if you're getting a dozen eggs whole and then cracking them just for the whites and throwing the yolks away, I mean, you're just kind of wasting money. The egg whites in a carton are much better, but looks like they're totally out. So I guess I'll settle for a standard dozen.
I don't know what store he's in. This looks like an Albertsons maybe, or could be a Walmart, but it looks like an Albertsons or a Smith's type of deal. They're always out of the egg whites. I don't know what it's been, but they're always out of the egg whites.
So typical lifter, let's just say lifter vocabulary, right? If you've kind of counted your macros for long enough, you know an egg white, 3.6 grams of protein, and a whole egg is 6 grams of protein, but 5 grams of fat. So again, I guess it is a little bit different, but going for the calorie smart option, getting rid of the yolks, maybe throw in one just for the omega-3s, but you know, a dozen egg whites versus a dozen whole eggs, that is an incredibly different meal in terms.
Absolutely right. I hear so many people saying, "Oh yeah, eggs are healthy. I eat 3 eggs in the morning, 4 eggs or whatever in the morning, and that's my breakfast." They don't realize how much fat is in those 3 to 4 eggs. If you're trying to if you're just trying to stay healthy, you want some of those omega-3s, like he said, perfectly fine. But a lot of people, you don't need 3, 4 eggs. You'd be better off with one whole egg and 3 to 4 egg whites, or maybe a cup of egg whites there. The difference in what he's saying, even though the difference is only what 4 grams of protein, 5 grams of fat, right? It seems like 1 gram difference, but those 5 grams of fat different are worth 9 calories versus each gram of protein is only worth 4 calories. So you're actually getting over double in the difference there, over double the amount of calories in the egg. So not good on a cut.
So for most of these, right, when I talk about the low calorie or the diet version, for the most part so far, they've been pretty comparable. Like if someone were to pour me a cup of the zero sugar lemonade and compare it to a cup of the full sugar lemonade, you know, I doubt I'd be able to guess the difference. Same thing with the little jelly. The peanut butter, it is a little different. It doesn't taste so rich, but it's still good. Now, with the keto bread, slightly different story. I will say, slightly different story. This is probably my favorite Live Carb Smart buns. So let's get another hamburger bun just to compare it to.
So Sam Sulek there with his PB&J sandwich anabolic. I personally, I'm not opposed to the bread. We'll see what the comparison is, but I think it's just not worth the hassle of dealing with the nasty bread. I think regular bread is not as bad for you as people say. With that PB&J that he's making as well, that's a nice form of carb. I don't think bread has too many calories, especially not as much as something like a rice. Maybe potatoes are better, but bread gonna fill you up. And for me personally, that Carb Smart bread sometimes is like double the price. I'm not trying to pay double the price. Like sometimes it's like $5, $6 a loaf versus like $2.
Where are they? One moment. There we go. All right.
Side note, I don't know if that came through to y'all, but Sam is so fucking big and roided out. He's like just sitting there breathing heavy going down the grocery store. He's like, he's just like a staple of being that big and juiced up. I have no problem with the fact that he's juiced. It's just, I know that can't be healthy.
So the Carb Smart option, 1 gram of fat per bun. Right? The full carb, 2.5. That's pretty comparable. But going down to the total carbohydrates, right? 21 grams of total carbohydrates, but you got to look a little bit deeper. Dietary fiber, right? Insoluble dietary fiber, 18 grams.
Wow.
Right? So when you read that, the insoluble fiber, it's not getting digested. You're not breaking that down as energy. It's kind of just passing through your system. So even though in technicality it counts as like carbs, there's no calories, at least a negligible amount. So you got to do a little bit of math, a little bit of subtraction. The total minus the insoluble fiber. So each one of these buns is going to have 3 grams of carbs compared to 30 over here, 10 times less carb load. I mean, come on, it's a no-brainer. So that is pretty classically combined with the powdered peanut butter and the jelly. So now,
So that is something that he's onto there. Soluble, insoluble fiber. Soluble gonna have 2 calories per gram. Insoluble 0 calories per gram. Somewhere close to it at least. Gonna be really good for your dieting and for cutting, leaving you more full. Gonna expand your belly. Gonna help you absorb some water as well. Really nice having that much fiber. Again, though, for me, the price just is not worth it in comparison, and I'm already getting some pretty healthy options with some zero sugar jam and some PB Fit. So I'll compromise on the bread personally. If you're trying to min max your diet, Carb Smart, or I think there's like Joseph's bread, those types of options are going to be better to go to.
so I'm looking for one of the leaner cuts. So pretty much one of my favorites is these top round steaks, typically about a pound each. So I'll usually cook the full pound at once and then just eat a half pound, then plus it a little bit later. It kind of lets me do a little bit of prepping, even though I'm not really a huge meal prepper. But
So those steaks there, flat top rounds, those are gonna be amazing. If you get the New York strips as well, they got some nice ones there. Normally gonna be pretty lean as well, or you could get a hanger steak, pretty lean as well there.
I mean, let's just look at this visually compared to a ribeye. You don't have to be a scientist to tell that this has got way more fat than this. So I'm thinking
That ribeye looked beautiful though.
2 pounds of this ought to last me well. I love these pre-chopped salad mixes too. I mean, I pretty much make sure I hit all my micronutrient needs. You can have a salad, quote unquote healthy food, and you can absolutely ruin it by way of adding 300 calories worth of condiments or dressing. Forgot you call it dressing for salad. You can have a salad that's 800 calories if it's got like a chicken cutlet on it, plus a bunch of olive oil, plus whatever. So I think people sort of lose a little bit of touch with, I don't even want to say conventionally, let's just say this.
All right, he's definitely right there. Watch your calories on your condiments, your dressing. Something that they do a lot of the time too to try and trick people is they'll put like a quarter teaspoon, like it'll say 0 calorie, but then it'll say for like a quarter teaspoon or something like that on like an oil or a dressing. It's probably really got like a poop ton of freaking calories in there. So I'm not gonna lie, if it says 0 calories, don't always believe it. Also look at the serving size too. But if you stick with like a balsamic vinaigrette or most vinaigrettes, like the light dressings in general, you're not gonna have too much of an issue. Gonna have some great 0 calorie additions there. Salads, vegetables, can't really go wrong with those. He's right. I personally think most of your food should probably fill all your micronutrient needs, but like he's saying, a multivitamin is not gonna hurt. Sam Sulek spins some good knowledge here.
I think people put a kind of arbitrary label on some specific kinds of foods just because they're conventionally healthy, but I think a lot of people seriously just lack the connection of how the fact that diet, in terms of the calories, the amount of energy that you're consuming, is the number one factor, which is going to change how your body looks. So getting back to,
He's spot on here. People all the time, you hear them like, oh, I'm eating salmon because I'm on a cut, or I'm eating salmon because I'm trying to be healthy, or avocado. Things like that are not going to help you cut. They are healthy and they're going to give you some micronutrients and make you feel a little bit better, but they're not going to help you lose weight. It's calories in, calories out. That's the main determiner.
Would you guess that this has caffeine in it? It's not a lot. It's only 20 milligrams for what would be like a can of soda. That is so freaking strange.
That is a big thing, actually. For me, I like to keep one caffeine-free zero sugar soda and one regular zero sugar soda. That little bit of caffeine when you're cutting definitely gonna help you a little bit when you're drinking that diet soda. Gonna kind of curb your appetite a little bit. But when you're getting ready to go to sleep, if you're eating dinner, might not want to drink 2, 3, 4 cups of diet soda with some caffeine in it. That's gonna start equaling like 80 to 100. That's gonna start getting you a little bit worse quality of sleep. So I like to keep a caffeine-free soda as well for the nighttime.
Because you got to think, if I'm drinking these like just to sip on, then I can finish a 2 liter in a day, and I can finish a 2 liter in an hour if I'm just sitting studying or doing whatever. So I don't need to just be taking in a bunch of caffeine for no reason. Just another reason why you got to keep an eye on the nutrition labels on these things.
I think you'd be surprised how many sodas actually do have caffeine in them.
Some stuff will pop up where you least expect it. Zero sugar root beer, love it. Let's get one more and then you can head to checkout.
Believe root beer is caffeine free. Sam Sulek wrapping up here, absolutely loving the knowledge he's spitting out. Most people, you give them just simple switches, switch some of the things that have a lot of fat in their diet for some zero sugar sauces, zero sugar condiments. Give them some zero fat cottage cheese or Greek yogurt instead. Give them a little bit higher protein options, that PB Fit, things like that. They'll probably start losing weight without even feeling like they're dieting. That's the magic. If you don't feel like you're dieting, you can maintain that diet for a real long time. And if the food doesn't taste that amazing, you can put zero sugar sauces, zero sugar condiments, seasonings, whatever you need to make it taste good. It's not that hard. Stop being a fat ass and just do the work. That's about it from him, though. He's got a full video up on his YouTube channel, Sam Sulek, up there. I got more content for you coming tomorrow. There'll be another video for you guys. Peace.